Alright, and with that, we're going to be continuing off of where I was supposed to be left off with this review thing, so just keep this in mind. It's a bit weird with the editing, but yeah, here we go. And that's it. That is it. That is the end of this review. Oh, not review. We're going to start with the review, but this is the end of the video. Could have been the end of the video, but it's not. As I stated before, I'm going to be doing a quick review of this because I feel like it needs to be said on how this event did as a whole. So, I made a card, and it looks something like this. You may have also noticed that there is my, I guess what you call my logo in the background there. The reason why that's there is that so people realize when it comes to something I've had a part in, you can exclude that. So if you look at my big list, if you're like, oh, well, you had a hand, therefore it shouldn't count. Now you know that if you see that, you just get rid of it, and it doesn't count. So you can make that as you will. But I figured I might as well read you some of this here. I figured. So I wrote a little blurb. It's the holidays are here. The town's about to get ready for its season's tale. A strange new mall has been constructed on the promenade, and the owner's son has come to give shoppers deals and the kids a fun scavenger hunt to play along inside the town. Courtney, however, knew something was wrong. The shopper seems hypnotized, the toys looked demented, the items on the list seem suspicious, and to make matters worse, it seems that Reggie is not exactly who he has claimed to be. Can Lucy and her, I'm guessing, Courtney, find a way to stop Reggie and save Christmas? This is considered to be the second Christmas event made by yours truly, so made by a fan. Based off the book with the same name, more of a Krampus theme. The Shop Teardrop Dead. The first time Shader's Shop has a section only for event items, which is true. And the event started back December 13th, ended January 6th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're going to talk about the good and the bad. So what made it good? So according to what I've talked to people and what my stance on stuff, I've decided to look at what I thought was good and bad, and I talked to certain people, so this is what I came up with. So the good. New items were a great add for the town. For what I have been told, the items that were introduced, they loved it. I didn't have any complaints. People were like, oh, this item sucks. None of that. I think most of the people actually liked the items introduced. The mini-event, the mini weekend request now doesn't use up any items so easily to get. Yeah, so the fact that they were able to use normal items and not event items was a nice, basically a reward to get some of the items without using event currency. I thought that was a great addition that should probably do moving forward. Shader's Shop has a dedicated row for event currency, no RNG waiting, so yes, now although you can actually have those items appear in Shader's Shop, now there's a guarantee you can just sell your items down below, which is perfect because that was something a lot of people had problems with, and now that that's there, nobody has problems with getting currency, so that's a good thing. The story is interesting and seasonal to this event. A lot of people commented on and they liked the fact the story was what it was, so I'm glad to know I'm a good story writer that fits with the campy Goosebumps theme, so that's great. The event length was long enough for what items were offered. Yeah, the fact of giving us 4 weeks to do this, and the fact of the matter is, I know that I'm a premium person, so it's kind of hard to say for freemium players or the free-to-play game people, but I was able to take my time with this event without having any issues. With that being said, though, let's talk about the bad. What really sucked about this event. That is being the fact that Santa's Store G's sucked. It was the worst part of the whole thing. The reason why was the items needed, which I'm going to talk about because that's the third reason why this was bad. The second one is the fact that Reggie requires to use currency to summon him, despite being premium. This, I had no idea who decided to think this was a great idea, because we've been so accustomed to being able to pay the Goosebumps to get these certain characters to assist us to help us get the stuff. And normally we were accustomed to have it so that, oh, they're free, so you'll be able to kind of just have them be summoned without any problems. But no, not this time. Now you have to use currency. Mind you, it's not expensive, but still it adds up. And it kind of sucks every time I have to summon him. I waste 50 of my my ornaments that could have been used some items. That would have been nice, but okay, whatever. The reason, too, the Santa Throne RNG sucks was mostly because the backpack and the hypnotizer requires way too much items. The requirements for these items were just really bad. Especially the heart attack backpack. What it needed was so awful. Because unlike the last two events we had, the Halloween and the Squeezers, which had a nice custom of being able to get all the items required to get this grand prize, this time around they decided to kind of do something bad. Now mind you, you didn't need the event spawn in order to get the event item, but the event grand prize, I should say. But you needed that for a lot. You needed like 5 of them. Like I mentioned before, you needed like 35 coal in order to get all of them that you needed. And for me, because of some glitches that happened, I had to do more. Right? I had to do more of that stuff in order to just to complete the story. And because of it, some people ended up not even being able to beat Reggie's last quest because of the fact that the ridiculousness of the event needed for the Goosebumps stuff was just awful. And it caused people just to say, you know what, screw it, I'm not going to do it anymore. You can tell I'm frustrated because I'm just stuttering, but I'm tripping on my words, I should say. The fourth one is only premium characters had an advantage to get items. So this is something I'm going to mention here because I've seen a lot of people talk about this. I understand the ideology of having to get money somehow, so they use premium characters to kind of entice people to get certain stuff. And it is nice that we're seeing event spawns being put into the game. That's always a great, and I'm not saying you shouldn't change that because I always love this idea. But maybe it'd also be nice to have, I don't know, another character that is free, like an actual like how they did Sam or you know, or Sonny, you know, something like that, a hero maybe, or somebody, because for the most part they were right, you know. The sucky part about it is that unless you had some of the event characters, like special event characters that you cannot buy in stores only for a limited time, it kind of disenchant people to not be able to get stuff. And I get the value of trying to purchase some of the characters so that they're useful later on for other events, but it also disadvantages people who may have missed it or who are new coming into the game. Like say, oh, I like this Christmas event, I want to start up new, and then they get a disadvantage of not wanting to participate anymore. Much like what happened with me for the Body Squeezers event, of how much requirement for the money and all that stuff happened. It just kind of just made me go, no, I'm screwed, I'm not doing it, you know. So I'm going to keep in mind for next time to try to do a balance between something that's fair for freemium players to play through, but also fair for the premium. So it's a weird balance that they're going to have to do, but the way they kind of handle it with here, there wasn't much freemium characters that were able to get items for the advantage, so perhaps maybe that's something to look into. Maybe even to the point where premium characters that were actually like in the game, like say Slappy or something like that, be able to drop something that might have helped a bit when it comes to some of this stuff, so maybe something to keep in mind in the future. And last but not least, the grand prize, the final prize, could have benefited with more color, less items needed to get. So just a minor nitpick, the reason why they hated the heart attack, the backpacks and the hypnotizer was because they were needed in order to get the final grand prize. So it had to be like maybe just getting like 3 of the backpacks, maybe it would be less bad, because it's like, oh well, I mean, it's grindy, but you know, I can deal with it, right? Give you enough time to get it. But unfortunately, no, they needed a lot, like 7. So it's like, ugh, you know, just way too much for something like that. And I do have to agree, and I'm going to put this in here, that although I do like how they designed the final grand prize and everything that it looks, it would have benefited if they added a little bit more color to the thing, like maybe being able to put little Christmas lights on the fence that they added there, or maybe even the greenery around, like, you know, the little reefs that they usually have around stuff. Maybe they put that around there, you know, like make it themed. Like, you put a green present there, maybe put a little green in there, or like make it cohesive and make it more Christmassy if you're gonna do something like that. But you know, it's what it is. Originally, I designed it to have it be just a tree, but they, you know, the team added some other stuff to it, which for me, I personally don't mind, but others do, unfortunately. So, with that in mind, where has this landed in overall? Well, I won't cut to the chase. You might be surprised when I say this, but where it lands is simply here. Oh no, no, you're not looking at that. That's where it's placed. That's where I've decided to place it at the end of the day. Right underneath the Easter event we had this year, but above the summer camp event we had this year, which was Welcome to Camp Nightmare. Which basically would make this 6th place overall. That's right, it's now the top of the being in the middle. So it's basically below the positive length. When you look at it like this, like what we have now, we have 12, right? So it's basically, out of the 6, it is the worst one of the good stuff. Right below the worst ones, right? And it's weird to say that because I feel like anything that is below Welcome to Dead House is the worst of them. The do not do anything below these lines. But anything like the first thing we had here, like the first event, then yeah, I would say that this would not be anything other than that. It would be pretty good. So with this list in mind, that would mean that the events that were great to worst was as followed. The Valentine's Day update we had this year, or in 2019, was considered to be the best one in my opinion, followed by the recently renewed remake, whatever, revenge sequel, the Body Squeezer Revolution. Then follows with this year's Halloween theme, which was the HorrorLand Carnival, followed by the Easter re-theme this year, which was a retelling again of the That's No Easter Bunny event that we've seen. Then follows my event, the Shop Till You Drop Dead, which makes this now in 5th place. Then it goes into 6, which is the Welcome to Camp Nightmare. Then that leads into the worst 2, which goes to that of Welcome to Dead House. And finally ending it off with Please Don't Feed the Vampires. All in all, with this in mind, this means that we had in total 8 events this year. And that's a lot. Normally I expect maybe 6, but yeah, we got like 8 mini events this year. And some were not great than others, and that's to be expected there. Now, with this being said, this has now concluded 2019's update. I have covered mostly everything that has been put up that was new in 2019, and because of it, that has now concluded everything for that year. There are some items I still have yet to do, which is that of cataloging the other books that I have yet to catalog, mainly the main quest ones, so expect some videos on that to come soon this year. Also, there are some new stuff coming this year, so I'm going to be doing that, mostly events and updates and stuff like that, so I'm going to keep up to date. But what will be coming up, originally I talked about doing a collection video, but I feel like I can't really do that, unfortunately, due to some problems. What I wanted to do instead was take a short video of a year in review. This year in review video is going to be a brief look at what happened in 2019 and my reviews of where things lie. I'm not going to talk much about the events because this video kind of looks at that more clearly than anything else. And honestly, everything when it comes to the video that's coming up is going to be basically looking at the main events as well as, or not the main events, the main updates plus the small little updates that fall between, and what I felt was the best main update and the worst one, and vice versa. And you get to see my overall view of 2019 and how I feel this game moving forward. And I'm hoping to get that done. Plus, there is this current small update that posted into the game. It's nothing major, but it is something that's going to be worth a video on. I'm going to try to see if I can't get the dialogues done, but I have a feeling I won't be able to get it done before soon, because by the time I post this video, they might be starting to tease the next update. I feel like it's going to be like that because around this time they start doing the Valentine's Day stuff, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do Valentine's Day again this year. As far as what they're going to do, I have no idea as of yet, but when I do, I'll be posting a video. So I have a feeling that whenever they start doing this, I'll probably be posting what I did in December, which was a walkthrough talk about with this event plus the whatever. If it's based on a book, I'll talk about that. And I'll also be doing the part 1 to that quest or that event. If it is an event, I'll do the part 1 to that, and then as well as the crafting 101 video as expected. And then, like this video, I'm going to wait until the event ends before I continue off with everything else. So, yeah, so you can see how my whole thing is kind of a mess right now. But, yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this long video. Apologies that it is a little bit lengthy than my usual ones, but I figured I needed to add these stuff here instead of having it added as a no video, because there's not much to justify with the other videos, and I'm not going to really go in too much in depth. But with that in mind, these are always a learning progress. So if you have any suggestions or things in mind, I always like to hear it down below. It may help improve in the future of certain stuff and content. But with that said, I've been talking long enough. I think I'll leave it at that. So until we meet again next time, I'll be seeing you in the new content of this year, this 2020. It would be weird for me to say see you next year, but unfortunately we're already in the next year. Technically speaking, if I said see you next year, I mean it would be seeing you into 2021. So let's pretend we're in 2019. And I'll be seeing you next year in 2020, which is considered now. You know what, yeah, I'm gonna end it off, so have a good one. Bye-bye.